Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Kimi Räikkönen. The Iceman who let speed do the talking. Kimi Räikkönen remains one of Formula One's most distinctive figures. A driver celebrated as much for his blunt charm and icy temperament as for his astounding natural talent behind the wheel. Over 2 decades in the sport, he carved out a reputation as a champion who never needed theatrics. For Kimi, racing wasn't a performance. It was simply what he did best. Early spark and rapid rise. Born in Espoo, Finland, in 1979. Räikkönen grew up far from the glamour of Grand Prix circuits. He cut his teeth in karting and quickly showed an instinctive speed that set him apart. By the time he made his F1 debut with Sauber in 2001, he had only a handful of car racing events to his name. Even so, his raw pace was undeniable. Within a year, McLaren signed him as Mika Häkkinen's successor, trusting the quiet newcomer to carry on Finland's legacy of racing excellence. McLaren years and the fight for glory. Kimi's years with McLaren were a mix of brilliance and heartbreak. He became famous for his fearless racecraft, late-breaking duels, and uncanny consistency. Mechanical failures robbed him of multiple potential championships, but the world took notice. Räikkönen wasn't just fast, he was effortless. His runner-up finishes in 2003 and 2005 remain among the most impressive near-misses in modern F1. Ferrari and the World Championship in 2007. Räikkönen moved to Ferrari and delivered exactly what the Scuderia needed. In one of the tightest seasons in Formula One history, he stormed from behind to win the World Drivers' Championship, beating both McLaren drivers Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso by a single point. It was a classic Kimi moment, calm, controlled, and devastatingly efficient. To this day, he remains Ferrari's most recent world champion. A unique career path. After leaving F1 in 2009, Räikkönen detoured into rallying and NASCAR, proving his versatile talent. When he returned to Formula One in 2012 with Lotus, he surprised everyone by becoming a regular podium threat and delivering iconic moments. His radio messages, especially his legendary, "Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing," became instant fan favorites. A second stint with Ferrari followed, capped by an emotional victory at the 2018 United States Grand Prix, a win that highlighted just how timeless his skill was. After later racing with Alfa Romeo, he retired from F1 in 2021. The legacy of the Iceman. Kimi Räikkönen's impact goes beyond statistics. Sure, he is a world champion, a 21-time Grand Prix winner, and one of the most experienced drivers in the sport's history. But fans adore him because he was unapologetically himself. No media polish, no forced persona, just a guy who loved racing and wasn't afraid to live simply and honestly. In a sport full of noise, hype, and politics, Kimi remained cool. The Iceman, the myth, the racer who let his right foot speak louder than any interview ever could. Kimi Räikkönen. Expanding the legend of the Iceman. A personality unlike any other Formula One has seen its share of superstars, but Räikkönen stood in a category of his own. While many drivers carefully crafted their public image, Kimi simply refused to play the game. His interviews were famously short, dry, and unintentionally hilarious. He had no interest in drama or spotlight, he just wanted to race, eat ice cream when he felt like it, and disappear when he didn't. This anti-showmanship ironically made him one of the most beloved personalities in F1 culture. Fans adored his minimalism. He could capture the mood of an entire race weekend with a single sentence. It didn't matter if he was winning or tangled up in chaos, the man stayed calm. Moments that built the myth. Räikkönen's career is riddled with moments that cemented his legend. A few classics. 2005 Japanese Grand Prix. Starting 17th, he delivered one of the greatest drives of his career, passing Giancarlo Fisichella on the final lap to take victory. Pure guts, pure speed. 2006 Monaco absence. After his McLaren caught fire and retired from the race, Kimi didn't return to the paddock. Instead, he hopped on a boat, grabbed a drink, and chilled with friends. A move only he could pull off. 2012 Abu Dhabi launch. Returning from 2 years away from F1, he took a stunning win for Lotus, and gave the immortal radio line, "Yes, yes, yes, but leave me alone. I know what I'm doing." 2018 Austin Masterclass. At 39, he beat both Mercedes cars to take his final F1 victory, proving age was nothing but a number for the Iceman. Behind the wheel. A natural racer, Räikkönen wasn't the type to talk engineering jargon endlessly, but he had an innate feel for the car that engineers found invaluable. He could sense grip levels with precision and adapt his style to conditions instantly. Even late in his career, his qualifying pace and race starts reminded rivals that he hadn't lost a step. His data traces often baffled teammates. He was smooth, controlled, and uncannily consistent. He didn't need theatrics because his craft was pure. Relationships with teams and drivers. Though he kept his distance from media and politics, Räikkönen was respected deeply within the paddock. Teammates appreciated his honesty. Engineers valued his clarity. Mechanics loved that he never placed blame. Drivers across generations, Alonso, Vettel, Hamilton, Button, all recognized the same thing: when Kimi was in the zone, he was untouchable. His friendship with Sebastian Vettel became a fan favorite. Both shared a mischievous sense of humor and an old-school love for racing. Life beyond Formula One. After retiring in 2021, Räikkönen embraced family life and low-key hobbies far removed from the chaos of race weekends. He's raced occasionally in other categories like NASCAR, helped with team ambassador roles, and stayed active in motorsports without seeking any spotlight. On social media, his posts are rare but genuine. Just Kimi being Kimi. His fans wouldn't want it any other way. Why the Iceman endures many drivers leave an impact through championships or records. Kimi did it through authenticity. He raced hard, spoke little, and brought a style of quiet defiance that modern sports rarely see. His combination of raw talent and refusal to participate in unnecessary noise made him timeless. Young fans still discover his radio messages. Older fans still remember his jaw-dropping drives. And the culture of F1 still quotes him whenever the sport feels overcomplicated. Kimi Räikkönen didn't just race. He became a symbol of doing things your own way, without apology or performance. Kimi Räikkönen. A deeper look into an icon who redefined cool early life, built from grit, not glamour. Räikkönen's upbringing wasn't one of privilege. His parents worked ordinary jobs, and racing was a passion supported through pure sacrifice. As a kid, he raced with equipment that was often older than his competitors, but he compensated with instinct. Stories from his karting days describe a boy who rarely spoke, always observed, and drove like he was born with a steering wheel in his hands. Even as a teenager, he showed the same qualities that would later define him in Formula One. No complaining, no excuses, laser-focused determination. His early coaches described him as effortlessly fast, a phrase that would follow him for years. Breaking into Formula One. A bold gamble. When Sauber signed Räikkönen in 2001, the FIA was skeptical. How could someone with just 23 car races under his belt handle the monstrous challenge of F1? They granted him a super license on probation, and he immediately shut down all doubt. At his debut race in Australia, he finished 6th. The paddock took a collective breath. The kid wasn't just good. He was special. Ron Dennis saw the spark instantly. And McLaren snapped him up for 2002. The quiet Finn had arrived, and the roar around him was getting louder every lap. McLaren heartbreaks and heroics these years were a cocktail of blazing speed and maddening reliability. Räikkönen had all the ingredients for multiple championships. But mechanical failures repeatedly stole the spotlight. Still, his talent shined so brightly that fans began to see him as the uncrowned champion of the era. Legendary moments from this period include wheel-to-wheel battles with Schumacher that look like two masters testing each other's limits, qualifying laps that seem to defy physics, races where his calm driving in chaotic conditions earned admiration from rivals. By 2005, many believed he was the fastest man on the planet. Ferrari's quiet assassin when Kimi arrived at Ferrari. The media expected fireworks. What they got instead was pure professionalism. He walked into the team, barely said anything, and then won the 2007 championship with an ice-cold final push. His title win remains one of the most dramatic endings in F1 history. A season-long duel with Hamilton and Alonso, a late surge that seemed impossible, a champion crowned by a single point. He became loved at Ferrari for his honesty, lack of politics, and ability to deliver under pressure. Inside the team, engineers recall how he'd often give feedback while eating an ice cream or chilling quietly, completely unfazed by the chaos of development meetings. The F1 sabbatical, the rally years. Räikkönen's move to the World Rally Championship wasn't just a detour. It was a test of himself. Rallying is brutal, unpredictable, and punishing, but he embraced the challenge. His rally pace impressed many, especially his ability to adapt to snow, gravel, and tarmac without hesitation. He also dipped into NASCAR, tackling oval and truck racing with the same curiosity and nonchalance he brought to everything else. The Lotus comeback, the renaissance when he returned to F1 in 2012. Most assumed he'd mellowed out or lost a bit of edge. Instead, he reminded everyone exactly who he was. He scored consistent podiums, won races, and delivered the kind of radio messages that turned him into a cultural meme. His Lotus era was defined by elite-level tire management, zero drama, a calmness that unsettled rivals. He wasn't just fast. He was wise, experienced, and calculating. The later Ferrari years and the fan-favorite era. Räikkönen's second stint at Ferrari was full of warm moments. Fans embraced him more than ever. His partnership with Vettel brought levity to the paddock, and his podiums always came with a sense of "Kimi still has it." His 2018 win in Austin was the highlight. At 39, he beat Hamilton and Verstappen in a straight fight. The sport erupted with joy. It felt like a victory for everyone who loved old-school racers. Alfa Romeo and the final chapter in his last seasons. He didn't chase glory. He focused on driving, mentoring, and enjoying the sport. Even in a midfield car, he had races where his racecraft shined through. His helmet cam footage became legendary for showing just how calm he was while dodging chaos. By the time he retired in 2021, he had built an enormous fanbase that adored him not just for his talent but for who he was as a person. The Kimi effect, a legacy beyond numbers. Räikkönen's influence can be felt in several ways. Drivers learned that authenticity is powerful. Fans embraced someone who refused to fake a persona. The sport gained timeless moments thanks to his humor and honesty. Kimi didn't chase fame, and that made him iconic. His career reminds fans that Formula One isn't just about stats. It's about character, heart, and showing up exactly as you are. Kimi Räikkönen, The ever-expanding saga of Formula One's coolest champion, a driver shaped by pure instinct. What made Räikkönen such a phenomenon wasn't just
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.